Come on in and shut the door behind you because we need to have a serious talk. Just you and me. I know we don't like to discuss it over tea, but we are walking through that specific season of life, somewhere between 65 and 85, where things start to change in ways we don't always want to admit. You know exactly what I am talking about. It's not just the gray hair or the wrinkles, those are just battle scars from a life well lived. What keeps me awake at night, and I bet it keeps you up too, isn't the fear of dying. No. At our age, we've mostly made our peace with the fact that we won't be here forever. The real boogeyman, the thing that truly scares us, is the fear of losing our independence. It is the terrifying thought of becoming a burden to our children, of not being able to use the bathroom by ourselves or needing someone to help us simply get out of a chair. That is the nightmare. I was reading some work by Dr. Miguel Rodriguez recently, and he put it so plainly that it sent a shiver down my spine. He said that for most of us, the decline doesn't happen with a bang. It doesn't happen because of one dramatic accident. Instead, it happens silently, creeping up on us like a thief in the night while we are busy looking the other way. You think you are doing just fine, perhaps slowing down a little, but fine nonetheless, until one day you realize you can't do the things you used to do without thinking. Dr. Rodriguez warns us that our independence 10 years from now is being decided by exactly what we do today, right this very minute. The doctor suggests that we often lie to ourselves. We tell ourselves that it is normal to be stiff, normal to be weak, normal to need a helping hand just to get around. But he argues that there are specific physical abilities, 5 of them to be exact, that act as crystal balls. These aren't just random exercises, they are diagnostic tools that tell the brutal truth about how well we are actually aging compared to the rest of the herd. If you can still do these 5 things, you are aging better than most people our age, but if you can't, it is a loud warning siren that you might be in trouble long before your doctor spots it on a chart. So I want you to humor me. I want us to go through these together. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. I want you to treat this as a little test to see if you are keeping that silent thief at bay, or if he has already stolen more than you realized. Let's start with something that sounds so simple, you might laugh at me for even bringing it up. I want you to find a sturdy chair, not a soft sofa that swallows you whole, but a good firm chair. Sit down in it. Now, cross your arms over your chest like you are giving yourself a hug and try to stand up. Here is the rule. You cannot use your hands. You cannot push off the armrests. You cannot push off your knees. And you cannot grab the edge of the seat. You have to rise using nothing but the power in your legs. Go ahead, try it. Did you pop right up? Or did you have to rock back and forth to get momentum? Did you instinctively reach out to grab something for balance? If you struggled or if you failed, don't brush it off. This test is the gold standard for checking the strength of your quadriceps, those big muscles in the front of your thighs. The sad truth is that after we turn 65, our bodies decide to start shedding muscle mass at a rate of about 3% every single year if we don't actively fight to keep it. It's like a slow leak in a tire. You don't notice it until you are driving on the rim. I remember a friend of mine, let's call her Patricia. Patricia was a stubborn woman, bless her heart. She started having trouble getting out of her favorite armchair, but she would just laugh it off and say, "Oh, my knees are just cranky today," or "This chair is too deep." She was in denial. She didn't want to admit that she was losing her strength. But there is a study from Brazil that Patricia should have read, and you need to hear it too. The researchers looked at this exact movement, the ability to stand up without hands, and what they found is enough to make you spit out your coffee. They discovered that older adults who could not perform this simple movement had a risk of death that was 5 times higher over the next 6 years compared to those who could do it easily. 5 times. That isn't a small number. That is the difference between seeing your grandkids graduate and being a memory. The inability to stand up is a sign that your body is becoming frail, and frailty is the gateway to losing everything we hold dear. So if you found yourself cheating on this test just now, using a hand here or a little push there, I need you to take it seriously. It means your engine is losing power, and we need to fix that before it stalls completely. Now, if you manage to get out of that chair without using your hands, don't go celebrating just yet because we have more work to do. The second test is a little bit strange, and you might want to make sure the hallway is clear of any rugs or dog toys before you try it. I want you to stand up straight and walk backward for 10 steps in a perfect straight line. It sounds silly, doesn't it? We spend our whole lives moving forward, rushing to the next thing, so why on earth would we need to go in reverse? Well, Dr. Rodriguez explains that walking forward is something we do on autopilot. We've been doing it since we were toddlers, so our brains don't have to think about it. But walking backward, that forces your brain to wake up. It tests your spatial awareness and the coordination of your cerebellum, which is the part of the brain that handles movement control. It isn't just a physical test. It is a cognitive one. I read about a woman named Dorothy who seemed sharp as a tack when you spoke to her, but her walk gave her away. She couldn't navigate backward without stumbling, and it turned out to be an early warning sign of dementia before she even started having memory slips. That's because when the brain starts to struggle with processing complex spatial information, it shows up in your feet first. Plus, and this is a big one, folks who can do this well reduce their risk of falling by 40%. Given that a bad fall is often what starts the downward spiral for people our age, learning to trust your feet in reverse is a skill that could quite literally save your life. Once you're done walking backward, I want you to stay standing and try something that might remind you of high school gym class. And if you're like me, you probably hated it back then too. I want you to try to touch your toes without bending your knees. I can hear you groaning already. But listen to me. This isn't about being a gymnast. This is about checking the flexibility of your hamstrings and your lower back. As we get older, we tend to stiffen up like an old rubber band. That tightness in your legs pulls on your lower back, creating a chain reaction of tension that puts immense pressure on your spine. That is why so many of our friends are constantly rubbing their lower backs and complaining about chronic pain. It's not just old age, it's a lack of flexibility. There was a fascinating study out of Japan that found a direct link between how flexible you are and how long you live. They discovered that a supple body is tied to a better quality of life and longevity. So if you can't reach past your knees today, don't just shrug and say, "I'm old." That stiffness is a warning light on your dashboard telling you that your body is becoming rigid, and rigidity is the enemy of movement. Now hold on to that wall for a second if you need to, because this next one is tricky, but it is absolutely vital. We need to talk about your balance. I want you to try standing on one leg for 30 seconds. You can lift it just a little bit off the ground like a flamingo. This test checks something the doctors call proprioception, which is just a fancy word for your body knowing where it is in space without you having to look at your feet. It involves your eyes, your inner ear, and your brain all working together in harmony. If you wobble or have to put your foot down immediately, you need to pay attention. The Mayo Clinic did some serious research on this, and the numbers are enough to keep you up at night. They found that people who couldn't hold this pose for at least 10 seconds had a risk of dying that was 3 times higher than those who could hold it for the full 30. 3 times. That is a massive difference, just based on whether you can stand on one foot. It sounds harsh, but poor balance is a leading predictor of frailty. I heard about a man named Thomas who was in the same boat, wobbling all over the place. But the good news, and there is always good news if you are willing to work for it, is that he was able to improve. Balance isn't something that just disappears forever. It's something you have to practice. But you have to face the music first and see where you stand. All right, take a deep breath because we have reached the final test. And I warn you, this one is the big kahuna. It is called the sitting rising test. And honestly, it is the ultimate report card for your entire body. The instructions are simple enough to say, but mighty hard to do. I want you to lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Yes, right down onto the carpet and then stand back up. The catch, you cannot use your hands, you cannot use your knees, and you cannot lean on the furniture for help. This movement forces you to use raw strength, extreme flexibility, precise coordination, and unwavering balance, all at the same time. It is a total system check. If you find yourself scrambling, needing to push off your thighs or grab the sofa to hoist yourself up, you are not alone, but you are in danger. The experts say that a low score on this test, meaning you need a lot of support to get up and down, is correlated with a risk of death that is 5 to 6 times higher than someone who can do it smoothly. That number is terrifying, I know. It sounds like a prison sentence for your future, suggesting that your body is operating near its breaking point, and that your functional reserve, the gas left in your tank, is running on fumes. But please do not close this page feeling hopeless. I didn't share all of these scary statistics just to ruin your day. I shared them to wake you up because there is a silver lining that you absolutely need to hear. Dr. Rodriguez uses a strategy of fear and hope, and we have covered the fear part. So let's talk about the hope. The most important message here is that this decline is reversible. You are not a lost cause just because you wobbled on one leg or needed a hand to get off the floor. Our bodies have this miraculous quality called neuroplasticity. Now that sounds like a $50 medical word, but all it means is that our nervous system and our muscles are capable of learning new tricks at any age. Whether you are 65 or 85, your body can adapt, rewire, and get stronger if you give it the right stimulation. I saw a case study of a man named Michael who started out in rough shape, barely able to move without help, but he committed to the process, and his improvement was nothing short of spectacular. His story proves that while we cannot stop the clock, we absolutely can turn back the tide of frailty. The secret to success here isn't about joining a CrossFit gym or trying to run a marathon next week. It is about consistency, not intensity. A lot of us think we have to kill ourselves with exercise to see results, but that just isn't true. You just need to be persistent. If you practice standing on one leg while you brush your teeth every morning, or if you practice getting out of your chair without hands every time a commercial comes on TV, those little deposits in your health bank account add up. The goal isn't to look like a bodybuilder. The goal is to preserve your independence. Remember, your independence 10 years from now is being decided by what you do today. I don't know about you, but I want to be the one deciding when I go to the bathroom or when I get a glass of water, not waiting for a nurse to help me. So take these tests to heart. Face the reality of where you are and start moving today. Don't let the silence of aging steal your freedom.